Before we start today's event, may I request all of you to kindly switch off your mobile phones or put them on silent mode. My name is Amrit Bhargav, a lawyer based out of Chennai, and it is my pleasure to take you through the inauguration of the Madras Tax Bar, MTB, Chennai's newest society of advocates practicing in the field of taxation. By way of a beginning, let me invite Ms. Shweta Vasudevan and Jayalakshmi Parthasarathy to render the Tamil Thai Vazhthu, and may I request our audience to kindly stand in respectful silence.
தெக்கணமும் அதிர் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரிதனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிடமை திறன் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you, Shweta and Jayalakshmi. Madras Tax Bar, a premier association of advocates practicing in the field of taxation, is being launched today. May I request the Vice President of the Madras Tax Bar, Mrs. L. Maithili, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Amrit. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Munishwar Nath Bhandari, the Honorable Chief Justice of our High Court, to inaugurate the Madras Tax Bar, MTB as it is called. We are deeply grateful to you, my Lord, for having accepted our invitation to be our chief guest to get us to a positive start. It also gives me immense pleasure to welcome the Honorable Judges of our High Court, the Honorable members of the CESTAT, ITAT, and STAT, who have spared their valuable time to grace the occasion and to encourage us while we take our first steps. On behalf of MTB, I extend a warm welcome to the government law officers, respected senior advocates, members of the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, members and office bearers and members of other bar associations, other eminent lawyers, media persons, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. MTB began as a WhatsApp group in 2016 between friends who were tax lawyers frequenting the same courts and had a lot to share. Before we knew, the WhatsApp group soon transformed into an important knowledge-sharing platform, a rare platform where opponents in court shared landmark judgments and the latest developments in law, whether SSC-friendly or otherwise. But before long, we found ourselves in the grips of the pandemic, which changed our daily routine, leaving us suddenly with little to look forward to. But MTB, characterized by its never say die attitude, decided to convert this adversity into opportunity by starting its webinar series. So here we were, burning midnight oil once again, preparing for our webinars, rallying around each other, organizing the webinars, finding topics and speakers to match. Most of us logged in with our cup of evening tea to learn something new in the well-presented webinars conducted by eminent speakers including the honorable judges of our High Court and other High Courts, senior advocates and other brilliant lawyers. Our junior members, the young Turks as we call them, also made excellent presentations. We covered many important topics, not only in the field of taxation, but also other fields of law, including constitution, arbitration, intellectual property. We will have more about the webinars in the audiovisual presentation later this evening. The MTB webinars became hugely popular all over the country. Tax bars from other states evinced interest in hosting our speakers and vice versa. MTB, even while enriching its knowledge with its webinars, was not oblivious to the crisis situation prevailing during the pandemic. We reached out to those impacted by pandemic, helping with getting hospital beds, oxygen supply, medication, apart from providing moral and financial support as needed. With the success of the webinars, MTB acquired a unique identity as an active expert body of lawyers practicing in the field of taxation. The time had come for MTB to get formally registered. Now, as a registered society, MTB is geared to expanding its frontiers and reaching greater heights with a synergy of a team of specialists in the field of taxation. Our Honorable Chief Justice has been encouraging the bar and bench to work together for the speedy disposal of cases. All our judges have been striving very hard towards achieving this objective. MTB is committed to doing its part in this direction. It is indeed our good fortune that the Honorable Chief Justice is inaugurating MTB. I thank you all for being present in large numbers to join us for this special occasion, this momentous occasion. We hope by the end of the evening, all of you will be satisfied that tax lawyers are not really a taxing lot. I once again extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Please enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This evening marks the dawn of a new association of tax lawyers united in thought and theme. This auspicious beginning requires being marked with ceremony befitting the occasion and its importance. May I request our dignitaries, the Honorable Chief Justice, Mrs. L. Maithili, Mrs. Aparna Nandakumar, Mr. T. Ramesh, led by His Lordship, the Honorable Chief Justice, to light the traditional Kuttu Velakku which is placed here. Madras Tax Bar is ever grateful to that generation of venerable legends in law, particularly in the field of taxation, for their noble service to the bar. By way of recall, we go down the memory lane with reverential nostalgia about some of our seniors, both living and immortal, through this visual presentation. Our Madras Bar is home to such a great heritage of law, lawyers, and the legal world that we can never ever make a comprehensive list, and if some personalities are not mentioned, they are remembered even more keenly in our hearts. back such a rush of memories and moments that were cherished with these personalities. May I request our audience to give a standing ovation in honor of these legends by putting our hands together as well. Madras Tax Bar, an association which grew from the nucleus of the critically acclaimed webinar series in 2020-2021, has contributed to the growing corpus of legal knowledge in Chennai and elsewhere, and has found soul-satisfying experiences in organizing this marathon series, all through the virtual medium. Here is a short audio-visual presentation on that treasure trove of legal knowledge with Advocate Mr. Jayakumar Sitaraman's voice.
Good evening to one and all. It's indeed my pleasure and privilege to present this brief recap, a wonderful trip down the memory lane. MTB Webinar Series, the central nervous system of the Madras Tax Bar, which connected all MTBians intellectually and stitched an eternal bond of camaraderie between us. When the whole world was waking up to the doomsday, we at MTB were having an intellectual merry-go-round on this fabulous carousel. MTB was an idea conceived by our beloved friend, Mr. Satish Sundar, who, on 29 June 2016, created a WhatsApp group to benefit the councils in tax practice for exchange of information and sharing of knowledge. On 11th April 2020, when the whole planet was in the thick of the pandemic and all human hopes were evaporating in utter awe and despair, a promising young star of MTV, Shri Prithvi Chopra, pinged a message in the group suggesting why we should not have some webinars on tax laws. Immediately, one of our eminent powerhouse, Shri Raghavan Ramabhadram, volunteered to take the first session on the topic Supply under GST. The spark became a forest fire, and today we are 148 webinars up and running, modestly a feat worth a Limca record, if not a Guinness. It's also worth to mention that almost the entire 148 sessions were hosted by Shri Prithvi under the able guidance of our tireless powerhouse, Shri A.P. Srinivas, who is the backbone of MTB. When we started our first session, to confess, none of us were sure that there would be a second. But what happened thereafter is nothing but a dream run, better than any Cinderella story. The MTB webinars became a series, a parade, decorated by the intellectuals of highest order. 10 judges, 5 retired judges, 2 tribunal members, 2 top bureaucrats, 14 senior advocates, and a whopping number of 72 learned advocates presented sessions on exquisite topics of exemplary content and intrinsic topics of extraordinary value. It won't be an overstatement if I say, at MTB webinars, we all had a true blessing of the demigods themselves, descending upon us and disseminating their abundant wealth of knowledge, toasted with a pristine balance. These sessions had the hues of a rainbow, imbibing oceanic depths and awareness. Studded by a constellation of Honorable Justice Thiru Rajiv Shakader, Honorable Justice Thiru Vaidyanathan, Honorable Justice Thiru R. Mahadevan, Honorable Justice Thiru A.K. Jayashankaran Nambiar, Honorable Justice Thiru M. Sundar, Honorable Justice Dr. Anita Sumant, Honorable Justice Thiru C.V. Karthikeyan, Honorable Justice Thiru G.R. Swaminathan, Honorable Justice P.T. Asha, Honorable Justice Thiru N. Anand Venkatesh, and also retired judges Shri K. Kannan, Shri Vinod Kumar Sharma, Shri R.V. Ishwar, Dr. Vinit Kothari, and Tirumati Pushpa Satyanarayana. These sessions gave us nothing but once in a lifetime celestial experience. Our webinars were also gifted to have Shri P.G. Chako, retired member judicial of the Sestat, and Shri T.R. Senthil Kumar, judicial member of ITAT, alongside Mr. M. Ajit Kumar, chairman of CBIC retired, and Shri Vasa Seshagiri Rao, principal chief commissioner of CGST retired, who delivered incisive analysis on insightful topics. If learning from the demigods is a pure divine experience, learning from the masters is a true Zen experience. Starting from Senior Advocate Arvind Datta to our beloved President Mr. Manishankar, from our son of the soil Mr. N. Venkatraman to Senior Advocate Pushya Sitaraman, MTB webinars were graced by wonderful sessions of these extraordinary masters, which were to be hailed as the moments of MTB's pinnacle and crowning glory. If the session taken by the iconic Mr. Lakshmi Kumaran took the MTB webinars to the next league, it was the battery of fantastic in-house speakers of MTB who took it to the next orbit. If Shri A.P. Srinivas and Mr. G. Natarajan were the chassis of this MTB webinar chariot, it was Mr. Swaminathan and Mr. Hari Radhakrishnan who were the axles. If Raghavan Ramabhadran was one cast iron wheel, our secretary Mrs. Aparna Nandakumar was the other. If our vice president Mr. Ramesh was one of the leading horse, Mrs. Maithili was the other. With each and every one of us contributing their bit, but our best, the MTB chariot started crossing every milestone, one after the other. This is the USP of MTB. The seniors of MTB encouraged the next gen to present their sessions, and the response of these young guns were ballistic. These young and ignited minds, with their profound energy, enthusiasm, and exuberance, gave an amazing new sheen to the MTB webinars. The initiative, the research, and the skill sets of these young Turks are nothing but a definitive promise and an assurance of a great future. This is our magnum opus. When MTB webinars reached its 50th episode, we rightfully thought it's time to pay a tribute to the legends of this profession, and thus devoted the 50th and 60th sessions to pay tribute to the immortal legends. A bouquet of senior advocates and other great speakers lined up and paid tribute to the immortal legends of this profession. Shri Habibullah Badshah, Shri K.R. Ramamani, Shri V. Ramachandran, Shri K.J. Chandran, Shri C. Natarajan, Shri K. Srinivasan, Shri S. Padmanabhan, Shri C. Venkatraman, Shri Uttam Reddy, Shri D.T. Chopda, and Shri T. Srinivasa Murthy. And the dream run continued. On 4th July 2020, we reached the envious yet magical milestone of 100. In a fitting celebration, Honorable Dr. Justice Vinit Kothari graced the 100th webinar as a chief guest and addressed the gathering with his fabulous speech on simplification of tax laws. We also attempted novel ways of knowledge dissemination. In one of its kind, MTB presented a webinar through a drama on a virtual platform, which was very well received. When Senior Advocate Arvind Datta addressed the gathering on his 40 years of professional journey, it garnered the highest audience ever for a MTB webinar. When our president, Mr. Manishankar, joined the panel along with two other veteran seniors, Shri N. Venkatraman and Shri N. L. Raja, on a very, very important topic, professional ethics for legal practitioners, it was hailed as a discharge of professional responsibility to navigate the future generation. MTB also hosted 2 super exclusive all-women sessions with the enlightened and the empowered. 3 finest judges of the Madras High Court, Honorable Justice Pushpa Satyanarayana, Honorable Dr. Justice Anita Sumant, and Honorable Justice P.T. Asha, joined a panel discussion along with our Vice President Maithili and our Secretary Aparna Nandakumar on a sensational topic of women power in the judiciary. To break the monotony, MTB also hosted a thoroughly entertaining yet informative session where the charismatic director Venkat Prabhu, along with one of the finest lensmen of the tinsel world, Mr. Shakti Sharavanan, came and answered a lot of interesting questions with their masterstroke of wit and humor. We also had very useful health awareness sessions where Dr. G. Shivaraman, a prolific speaker, addressed the gathering with these great tips for total well-being and also answered tons of questions. This is indeed a very proud moment and a crowning glory of MTB. When the All Bengal Tax Bar Association invited MTB to take a session for their audience, we chose the best stallions of MTB stable, Mr. T.R. Senthilkumar, Mr. A.P. Srinivas, and Mr. M. Swaminathan, went and repeated Julius Caesar's Vini, Vidi, Vici. They went, they spoke, and they conquered. Be it then, when MTB was a seed of thought, or today, which has sprouted into a sapling, we have always irrigated it with our camaraderie. As I said, the basic tenet of MTB fabric had always been a camaraderie, and these are the few occasions where we showcase this virtue. The great French writer Victor Hugo once said, "Nothing can stop an idea whose time has come." As I said in the beginning, MTB was an idea. Today, all of us at MTB sincerely feel and believe that the time for that idea, the MTB, has truly arrived. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a fond recollection of the series that brought out the best in our bar. We also recall the contributions of Mrs. J. Hemalata, Mrs. Hema Murali Krishnan, and Mr. Jayakumar Sitaraman for organizing these sessions. Before I invite the President of the Madras Tax Bar, Mr. C. Manishankar, Senior Advocate and former Additional Advocate General for Tamil Nadu, and Mrs. Aparna Nandakumar, Secretary of the Madras Tax Bar, to kindly escort the Honorable Chief Justice to the dais, may I request the event management team to place the chairs on the dais.
check.
This evening witnesses the launch of the Madras Tax Bar, and may I invite Mrs. Aparna Nandakumar, Secretary of the Madras Tax Bar, to introduce this new association to our distinguished audience along with its office bearers.
My Lord the Chief Justice, Shri Munishwar Nath Bhandari, Honorable Judges of the Madras High Court, Honorable Members of the Tribunals, distinguished senior advocates, President of the Madras Tax Bar, conveners, office bearers, and members of the Madras Tax Bar, distinguished invitees, I offer my humble greetings. It is my greatest honor to introduce members who form the backbone of the Madras Tax Bar, the soul of tax brethren. I request you all to kindly have a look at the presentation. We have 20 founding members, starting from Mr. C. Manishankar. Yes, we are honored to have as our founding patron members veritable experts in the domain who've also generously contributed to the initial corpus of the society. Mr. Shri Arvind Dattar, Senior Advocate, Mr. N. Venkatraman, Senior Advocate, Mr. V. Lakshmi Kumaran, Mr. V. Sridharan, Senior Advocate, Sri C. Manishankar, Senior Advocate, and our President, Dr. S. Krishnanan, and Sri S. Jayakumar. Today, the Madras Tax Bar has as its first draft of soldiers the following founding team of office bearers. President, Sri Manishankar, Senior Advocate. Conveners, Sri A.P. Srinivas and Dr. S. Krishnanan. Vice Presidents, Srimati L. Maithili and Ramesh. Secretary, my humble self, and Joint Secretary, Sri G. Natarajan. Treasurer, Sri S. Muthu Venkatraman, and Librarian, Sri Swaminathan. And we have 8 other EC members. Yes. MTB also has patron members who have contributed patronage fee for the corpus. Retired judges of the Supreme Court, High Courts, retired judicial members of the tax tribunals would also be invited to join MTB as honorary members. MTB extends membership exclusively to advocates with special focus on those practicing mainly in the field of taxation. Any advocate who is enrolled in the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry and who has completed 10 years of practice is entitled to be inducted as a senior member. MTB also extends membership to younger advocates as junior members to assist them along their career trajectory. Advocates who are attached to bar councils of other Indian states are offered membership as associate members. We proudly state that as on today, we have 201 members within a month of being registered as a society. This society is here to grow. MTB has just commenced its journey with baby steps. I wish and pray the future of MTB to be really bright. In this context, it would be most appropriate to quote the words of Sri Alexander Dumas in his famous novel, the Count of Monte Cristo, until the day when God shall deign to reveal the future to man, all human wisdom is summed up in these two words: wait and hope. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We are sure that this will be a great beginning of many beginnings. Madras Tax Bar is being formed with an idea in mind whose time has come. I deem it my privilege to invite Mr. C. Manishankar, Senior Advocate, to deliver the presidential address as the first president of the Madras Tax Bar and outline the objectives of this association.
My Lord the Chief Justice, companion judges of the Madras High Court, senior advocates, members of the tribunal, members of the Bar Council, members of the Bar Association, friends, good evening. It is probably the decree of destiny that I have been asked to be the first president of this newly formed Society of Advocates, the Madras Tax Bar, MTB. It's a great honor and singular privilege to be standing before this distinguished audience on this significant occasion, thronged with memories of the past and wishes for a golden future. The beginning of the Madras Tax Bar, as already told by my predecessor speakers, that started as a WhatsApp group in 2016 by my dear friends Satish Sundar and Dr. Krishnanand. What started as a WhatsApp group slowly began to develop itself into a group for exchanging ideas. And one occasion, as Jai Kumar pointed out in his introduction, that one of the junior members wanted to have webinars to exchange of knowledge. That is how it started. It started as in April 2020 and went on to 148 webinars till now, and it is still counting. The active participation of youngsters proved to be a special vantage point for creating intellectual assets for the future, which are justly proud of. We also witnessed the power and potential of virtual medium, and this made the programs attain a high degree of public outreach pan-India. The webinar sessions are now part of a carefully curated video gallery, which can be accessed at any point of time by any person and represents one of the largest repositories of legal knowledge in recent times available for free viewing. Madras Tax Bar is being formally inaugurated by my Lord the Chief Justice in the presence of the companion judges of the Madras High Court at a time when the vistas for tax litigation, both on the direct and indirect tax sides, have grown in astronomical proportions. True to its specially crafted motto, Fraternitas in Lege Tributum, meaning brotherhood in taxation law, demonstrates the commitment of Madras Tax Bar in creating a community of advocates who work higher standards of professionalism imbued with best traditions of ethics and practice. The tax bar, already enriched by the contributions of the Revenue Bar Association and Indirect Tax Bar Association, has yearned for a cohesive synergy between themselves and the bench, more as a platform for constructive dialogue and interaction, since we strongly believe that disinterested silence is not a virtue in this profession. It is also noticed that tax advocates concentrating in a specialized area need some general interaction amongst the members of the bar and at a broad-based level. This, we thought, can be possible only through an association which is regularly active and meets to discuss issues of importance for the judiciary and the legal profession as a whole. Madras Tax Bar aims to achieve a healthy interaction between the bench and the bar and also create a channel for communication amongst juniors for professional needs. Our younger colleagues need to be inspired for hard work and zeal, and this can be dreamt of only when they are made to interact with each other apart from exchanges in the court halls. We are starting this initiative at a point of crossroads in our national destiny. With 75 years of independence behind us, the onus to create a robust ecosystem for lawyers in the tax field has been compelling. The entire evolution of this remarkable subject, right from the days of Kautilya's Arthashastra, a magnum opus on public administration, which deals in great detail about the itemized indirect taxation and levies of direct tax by identifying the occupations at a time before the start of Common Era, and right up to the dates of Kamakya Narayan Singh versus CIT which construed royalty as income from other sources. Madras Tax Bar is conscious of its role in history, especially in a jurisdiction where there has been a landmark move into a comprehensive indirect tax regime, the Goods and Services Tax from 2017 onwards. Hailed as a milestone by professionals, it is possibly one of the grandest experiments anywhere in the world. The sheer complexity in the nature of types of goods and services, revenue involved, touch of penal provisions, and the tightrope of writ remedies have made the GST regime a professional's paradise. The law has also continually evolved and responded with changing times, right from the good old days of Gan and Dankali cases to the Mohit Minerals judgment. Domestic and international taxation, especially with such issues of statutory interpretation, as complex as it may present itself, is a subject, its practical working and needs commercial sense too. The good old debate as to whether the practitioner on the commercial side would comprehend tax law better or vice versa is for everyone's mental churning and contextual application. The core of the practice is in the high-pitched transactions and their even more high-pitched demands. Even so, on behalf of the assessees bar, we must remind ourselves the words of the great jurist Nani Palkiwala, to tax and to please is not given to men, but to tax and be fair is. Words for the tax department as it may seem, but they are real modicum of tax morality. On its working side, Madras Tax Bar would focus on tracing out the march of law in all its flavors by holding regular featured discussions. It is also seen that for long, taxation has been viewed as far as distant field, diverged from mainstream of legal thought and practice. This is a myth that will be dispelled by Madras Tax Bar, since we feel that nothing touches everyday commerce and business activity like taxation. There is surely a need to bring concepts of indirect and direct tax closer to the minds of professionals, and this is possible only through a collective voice of advocates like the Madras Tax Bar and the Revenue Bar Association. While study circles will be regular and compulsory features year-round seminars and brainstorming sessions will see eminent scholars, advocates and professionals address the association in Madras Tax Bar based on the inputs from its executive committee and other office bearers. It is not out of place to mention here that the entire committee was elected unanimously. At this juncture, we must consciously remember and recall the legacy of our illustrious seniors and forebearers on whose shoulders we stand. It is as a tribute that a short video was played. Madras Tax Bar owes its debt of gratitude to those legends whose unforgettable memories are etched in our hearts, and it is by the hand of Providence that these warm sentiments were being felt in the presence of my Lord, the Chief Justice, whose court has always seen justice being seasoned by mercy. Incidentally, this happens to be the title of the biography of my late senior, Mr. Abibullah Basha, When Mercy Seasons Justice. As for the coming days, we are sure that the Madras Tax Bar will steer through its destined path with the able assistance of its members, who are the treasure of this association. The Madras Tax Bar to consult with everyone, one of its members, with the support of its executive committee for organizing year-round activities relevant to thematic and conceptual ideas by giving a head start to this new association. Before I conclude, I would be failing in my duty if I don't place on record the excellent, invaluable efforts of my dear colleague Raghavan Ramabhadran in his ordeal to bring this event to a successful, as a successful event, and also his useful inputs in preparing this speech. Thank you, Ram. As for me, this is an evening to remember and cherish, not just for this rare gathering, but for the new dawn and a new era. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for outlining the objectives of this association. This evening is special for a variety of reasons, the most important being the presence of His Lordship, Mr. Justice Munishwar Nath Bhandari, Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. I have the privilege of saying a few lines in His Lordship's honor. His Lordship comes with rich and varied experience of extensive practice on almost all sides of the bar and was elevated to the bench of the Rajasthan High Court on July 5th, 2007. His Lordship was later judged the High Court of Allahabad and became the acting Chief Justice of that honorable court in 2021, after which my Lord became Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. Known for administrative sagacity, perceptive judging, innovative techniques of molding relief, and an inimitable sense of fairness with constitutional commitment, we recall with grateful pride about your Lordship's observation the other day in open court, that your Lordship was happy and lucky to come here, all standing for the heritage of our Madras Bar. May I now humbly invite His Lordship to deliver the inaugural address.
Vanakkam and good evening to one and all present here. Mr. C. Manishankar, President, Madras Tax Bar, Aparna Nandkumar, Secretary of the Bar, S. Krishnanand and A.P. Srinivas, Convener of the function, other office bearers of the Madras Tax Bar, my esteemed brothers and sister judges of Madras High Court, senior advocates, all other dignitaries of the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely thankful to the organizers for giving this privilege to be part of the inaugural function Madras High Court Bar, which was started with with the WhatsApp group in 2016 and transformed today into a bar association. For today's program invitation, when President came, it was informed that we started with the WhatsApp group to share the development of laws. And I would be frank in sharing, there was a need. I think income tax law is the only law where you find amendments every year. And if not every year, it may be even within the year also. And it becomes a challenge to preside over the bench, especially for those who have not practiced in the tax. It's a specialized subject. The law, I think, every provision having a lot of explanations. I mean, all those who have practiced in the tax or share the bench would be knowing. My sister Anita is there, Shafi is there, who have practiced and even heading the bench. And I would be frank in saying that it's not that easy a law, though it may not be complicated also. The difficulty is the development, every year's amendment, addition of explanation. If you want to understand, you have to be very deep in the know. And I would be sharing, immediately after my elevation, I think after 6 months, I was given the bench with obviously a senior judge to share the bench to head the tax matters. It was absolutely new tax law for me. I never worked in the tax. It was a challenge, but then you have to accept the challenge. The first thing which was given to me by senior was that you should come with the act, Income Tax Act of the year of which the assessment has been made. There are a lot of amendments. Now you get the complete book. I'm talking about 20 years back, when in many high courts it was not even a specialized field. Hardly few cases coming to the high court. I would not be saying about the big high courts like the Madras, Bombay, Calcutta, Delhi, Bangalore. There were few high courts where it was not a field to be opted for the high court lawyers. Very specialized and very few lawyers were working. And therefore, when the president of the bar came to invite for the program, I readily accept 2 reasons. Tax is one subject which was not practiced by me, but I remained on the bench and delivered the judgment also. It is not very complicated subject also, but again, I would be saying, you need to be very deep. You need to know what are the amendments, what are the explanation added every year, and accordingly you have to go. And then it becomes easy to share the bench or to head the bench. Otherwise, my brother was also saying, while I was coming here, that is such a subject which cannot be administered by everyone, but would be sharing that when the task is given, when the challenge is given, we can do it. And today I'm happy that a bar association which is badly needed for the specialized field started from WhatsApp group in 2016 has transformed to be a bar association. It is a group where they can discuss the development of law, the amendments, and especially the type of the group required would help the young lawyers. The lawyers who are practicing in this field for last many years would be very deep and knowledgeable about the law, but youngsters who start this journey needs their help. And again, I would say, this is such a specialized law where you need to be in touch with the law, the development, the amendments, and even the judgment of the courts. The video was shown, I would be not naming the legendaries who remained leading lawyers in the tax field, and journey was started long back again. The Madras High Court is one of the prestigious High Court where tax was again one of the specialized field taken by the lawyers. Unlike other bar association or the high courts, coming from Rajasthan High Court, I would be frank in sharing. Then I started my journey in 2000, around 40 years back. It was not one of the specialized field. It was not one of the field to be taken in the profession. Generally, who is practicing in the tribunal would be coming to the High Court. But Madras High Court and other High Courts have seen the legendaries and remain the specialized field. 2020 rather, I would say, Corona, much sufferance on that count, but given a new webinar series, they were discussing about many programs on the webinar. It was a new opening, and it came during the pandemic COVID-19, and it became very easy to discuss the issues, very complicated or complex issues. Without a physical presence, things were made easy with the webinar, and I extend my congratulations to the members of the bar who use this platform very effectively. Number of webinar series, which said to be more than 100, I hope. Justice Vineet Kumar Kothari, I think he was the chief guest of 100th webinar series. This is again a platform. Physical presence may at times become very, very difficult, but use of technology now, and especially webinar, has made the things easy. And this again gives you a platform to discuss across the members what are the development of the law, and it may not be very, very useful for the senior, but useful for the junior members of the bar. I am thankful for the organizers again for inviting me, though again I would be saying that it was never my field, but I had given judgment on the income tax laws also, and even after coming to this prestigious High Court, a judgment was recently given on income tax law where the virus was challenged and it was placed before our bench, my bench, and we could address the issue. And the matter was, though I mean, this issue which was addressed by us was decided by many other high courts, but we had taken a different view than what was taken by other high courts, and ultimately the decision of the Supreme Court. This remains a learning for us also when the judgment goes to Supreme Court, or we see the judgment of Supreme Court on the issues decided by us. And again, income tax law being a very, very specialized subject, I hope and trust that with the formation of the group, the Bar Association, it would not only to the benefit of the lawyers, but would be to the litigant and even for the revenue of the country, because development of any country depends on the revenue collection, and tax is one of the sources to collect the revenue. Members of the tribunal are present. They are giving and putting a lot of hard work to address the issues, and such a subject, again, which is the basis for the development or collection of the revenue. And I give sincere thanks to all the members who are taking lead to address the complicated issue. And at the end, again, I extend my thanks for inviting me for this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my Lord, for sharing your Lordship's experiential learning and for those words of motivation for the juniors at the bar. The Madras Tax Bar seeks to be an association which celebrates the spirit and learning behind tax advocacy and leave its imprint in the history of the legal profession. It stands in commitment to the highest standards of professionalism, and it is only apt that I invite the Honorable Chief Justice to unveil the logo of the Madras Tax Bar along with its specially chosen motto, Fraternitas in Lege Tributum, meaning brotherhood in taxation law, in the easel that is going to be placed in the rear of the podium. Thank you, Your Lordship. Information dissemination, social communication, and contributing to the knowledge society forms part of the Madras Tax Bar's mission. To that end, may I humbly request His Lordship the Chief Justice to symbolically launch the official website of the Madras Tax Bar. As a mark of felicitation to remember this occasion, may I request Advocate Mr. B. Satish Sundar to present a bouquet to His Lordship, followed with a shawl from Dr. S. Krishna Anand, Advocate. May I request all of the office bearers of the Madras Tax Bar, led by the President of the Association, Mr. C. Manishankar, to present a memento to His Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court, signifying the warmth of this evening. We have all cherished a fine evening filled with food for thought. Madras Tax Bar is now born and is bound to achieve its purposes with all its well-wishers from across the bar and bench. May I request Mr. T. Ramesh, Vice President of the Madras Tax Bar, to propose the vote of thanks.
Vanakkam and good evening. பயன் தூக்கார் செய்த உதவி நயன் தூக்கின் நன்மை கடலின் பெரிது. திருக்குறள். The help given without weighing the return, when weighed, outweighs the sea. This couplet from the Tirukkural aptly describes the kindness and generosity of a vast number of people in making today's event the grand success that it was. Bearing an immense feeling of gratitude, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks today. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Lord, the Chief Justice of Madras High Court, for inaugurating Madras Tax Bar, unveiling the logo and the website, and gracing us with his wisdom. I also thank all the honorable judges of the Madras High Court for their presence today. Their presence is a source of great encouragement for all of us. We are truly grateful to the honorable members of the ITAT, SESTAT, STAT for accepting our invitation to be a part of this momentous occasion. We express our deepest gratitude to all the senior advocates for their presence and continuous support. We are also very grateful to all other advocate colleagues for their enthusiastic participation in today's event. I thank the members of the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, Bar Council of India, Madras Bar Association, Madras High Court Advocate Association, Revenue Bar Association, Women Lawyers Association, MMBA, and members of further association for being a part of this august gathering. Today's event could not have been possible without the guidance of the President of the Madras Tax Bar, Senior Advocate Mr. C. Manishankar, and other office bearers, conveners, founding patron members, and founding members of the Madras Tax Bar. I express my deepest gratitude to the team for their vision and drive in actualizing MTB today. Our sincere thanks to the press and media for covering today's event. I would like to specifically thank Advocate Mr. Amrit Bhargav for so eloquently emceeing this evening, and Advocates Sweta Vasudevan, Advocate P. Jayalakshmi for their divine rendition of the Tamil Thai Vazhuthu. I would also like to thank Advocate Jayakumar Sitaraman for providing voiceover for the MTB webinar series video. I am also grateful to Advocate Sahana, Kritika, Sweta, Lavanya, Prithvi, Nitin, Poojesh, Vadivu Karasi, Nivedita, Anish and Rekha for helping our organizing the event. At this juncture, I would like to express my thanks to the members of the Madras Tax Bar for their participation and the volunteers led by Advocates Mrs. Rita Chandrasekharan, who have worked tirelessly to make this event a grand success. I would also like to thank everyone who have contributed morally and financially to this event. I also thank Tax Sutra for the support and involvement. Special thanks to Taxscan for facilitating live coverage of the event and enabling people to witness the event virtually. As of this moment, we have reached the viewership count of more than 100. We would also like to acknowledge our gratitude to Advocate Mr. B. Ramanakumar for permitting us to use his artistic outtake of our beloved and beautiful High Court, the backdrop for tonight on the website. I am also very grateful to Viz Events and Entertainment Private Limited, who are the event managers led by Mr. Keshav, ably aided by Mr. Imitias. I thank Ms. Sharda for helping with the designing of MTB logo. We are also extremely thankful to following Vidwans and Vidushis, Lalgudi Sri G.J.R. Krishnan, Lalgudi Srimati Vijayalakshmi, Dr. Jayanti Kumaresh, Srimati Charumati Raghuraman, Dr. Ambi Subramanyam, and Indo-Soul by Karthik Iyer for graciously consenting for playing the rendition in today's event. Special thanks to Nanal Innovation PT Limited and team for creating the website. We also thank the team at Taj Wellington Muse, Chennai, who stands as a true reflection of empowered women for their immense contribution to the conduct of the event. Lastly, I thank the entire audience for being part of the ceremony today. Thank you, Nandri.
Thank you, sir, for those words of gratitude. May I request all of you to rise for the national anthem, following which I request our honorable judges and tribunal members to join us for dinner at the adjacent hall and our advocate friends at the foyer in front of us.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे